Welcome to Fencing Buddies podcast. I'm Alex, and with me is Sarah. Today we're diving into a fascinating article about the current application of video feedback in sports teaching and training.
Thanks, Alex. This article caught my attention because video analysis is something we talk about constantly in fencing. It's an absolutely essential tool for coaches and athletes, especially in a sport with such nuanced technique and lightning-fast actions.
Yeah, exactly. As a coach, I'm always looking for ways to get through to my fencers. The article mentions that video feedback helps students observe their technical movements and mistakes, fostering interest and improving skills. But how does that really play out on the strip, How does just watching yourself translate to a better lunge or a crisper parry riposte?
That's a great practical question, Alex. The article highlights that domestic research often defines it as based on feedback teaching theory, where students watch, reflect, summarize, and then receive guidance. Foreign research sees it as using edited video clips to promote skill acquisition. Both point to that crucial step of self-observation. When you're in a bout, especially at speed, you often don't truly feel or see what you're doing. Video takes away that subjectivity. You can see if your front foot lands before your blade arrives, or if your parry is too big, leaving you open for a remise.
That's interesting, because I've seen that in my athletes. They'll argue, "No, coach, I swear I closed the line." Then you show them the footage, and suddenly it clicks. The article also talks about focusing on offensive and defensive tactical skills, sparring routines, and technical movements. For fencing, how do you balance using video for the big picture, like tactical bout analysis, versus nitpicking a specific footwork step?
It really depends on the athlete's level and what you're trying to achieve. For beginners, it's often about standardizing technical movements, getting that end guard stance correct, ensuring their lunge is linear and powerful. For more advanced fencers, it shifts. We use it extensively for tactical analysis, dissecting an opponent's distance control, their timing tells, or identifying patterns in their attacks. You can watch an entire bout and see how a fencer's strategic decisions, or lack thereof, influence the score. It's about building that mental representation they mention, which is key for future performance.
That makes a lot of sense. The article also touches on the cognitive aspects, improving the cognition of sports-related knowledge and cultivating the adaptation of long-term memory. For fencers, especially, the mental game is huge. How does video feedback contribute to that deeper cognitive understanding? Does it help them internalize strategy faster?
Absolutely. By repeatedly watching themselves, or even elite fencers, execute specific actions or strategies, athletes start to build a robust mental library. They can then visualize those movements and tactical sequences more clearly. This reinforces correct motor patterns and helps them anticipate outcomes. When they encounter a similar situation in a future bout, that long-term memory kicks in, allowing for quicker decision-making and more effective execution. It turns abstract concepts into concrete, visual experiences.
I'm noticing a difference the article points out too. Domestic studies often focus on teaching university students, while foreign research is more diversified, including injury prevention for athletes. That's a huge takeaway for coaches. We often forget that proper technique isn't just about performance, it's about staying healthy.
Exactly. The injury prevention aspect is critical and often overlooked, especially in sports with repetitive stress like fencing. If a fencer has a biomechanically unsound lunge or a landing after a flesh, video feedback can identify those risk factors before they lead to an ACL tear or chronic knee pain. It's about optimizing movement patterns for both performance and longevity, which is something high-level sports science programs abroad are definitely prioritizing.
So, if I'm a youth coach with limited resources, how can I best leverage this? What's the sweet spot for using video feedback without overwhelming my fencers or turning every practice into a film session?
Good question. The article mentions systematically and scientifically implementing it. For a youth coach, that means being strategic. Focus on one or two key areas per session, perhaps recording a specific drill or part of a bout. Keep the feedback immediate and actionable. Maybe show a fencer a 10-second clip of their footwork, discuss one point of correction, and then have them try it again. The goal is to empower them to self-correct and develop that internal awareness, not just point out every flaw. Short, focused bursts are often more effective than lengthy reviews.
That's super practical advice. So, the key takeaway here for fencers, regardless of level, is that video feedback isn't just a fancy gadget, it's a powerful tool for self-discovery and targeted improvement in both technique and tactics.
Really is. When applied thoughtfully, it's one of the most effective ways to bridge the gap between intent and execution, helping fencers understand what they're doing, why it matters, and how to get better.
Thanks everyone for listening to Fencing Buddies podcast. Until next time, keep your distance and stay sharp.